PlayStation Plus just dropped its 3 free games for October 2025. Cocoon, Alan Wake 2, and Goat Simulator 3. Even though they're free for all PS Plus members, your time isn't. So I decided to play each one for an hour to help you figure out which games are actually worth diving into and which ones you can skip. I'll be ranking each game from bronze to gold, and based on how much fun I had, how well it plays, and if it's worth your time. But honestly, this month's lineup has something for everyone. So let's kick things off with the bronze pick for October. So in the bronze category is Goat Simulator 3. Goat Simulator 3 is developed by Coffee Stain North Studios. Goat Simulator 3 is a wild, chaotic, third-person sandbox action game where you play as a goat wreaking havoc across the fictional island of San Angora. Released in 2022, the game expands on its predecessor with a larger open world, a story mode, and goat customization options. And it also has support for up to 4 players in local or online co-op. Players can headbutt, lick objects. Yes, I said lick. That's how you grab things. It's perfectly normal. Anyways, and you can equip all kinds of bizarre gear to cause destruction. The game also features a variety of mini-games and hidden secrets waiting to be uncovered. The game is 12 gigabytes in size and is rated T. Now, let me be totally honest with you guys. I hate goats. I hate their eyes, their unpredictable behavior, pretty much everything about them. I don't even know why. So going into this game, my expectations were low, really low. But to my surprise, I actually found something fun here. Not mind-blowing, but fun. As someone who hasn't played the previous Goat Simulator games, I wasn't sure what to expect. Right from the start, I was caught off guard by the Skyrim-like intro.
Finally awake!
And it was hilarious. Then I was dropped into the massive open world, and it got interesting. The open world in this game is surprisingly big and packed with odd, hilarious things to discover. Gameplay is chaotic in the best way. You can attack people in absurd ways, complete all sorts of random objectives, and even do things like grow a beanstalk into the sky. Or you can take part in a Doom-inspired mission to punt a granny across the room. Yeah, never thought I would say that sentence out loud ever in my life, but here we are. What really stands out is the variety. There's always something weird around the corner, and the humor is baked into everything. It's like the kind of game you can just throw on while listening to a podcast or just hanging out. Low stakes, laid back, and often genuinely funny. Combat isn't deep or complex, but it doesn't need to be. Driving around, exploring, or just causing chaos is where the game shines. There is a story, which is a nice bonus, though I didn't dive deep into it, but ultimately it adds a bit more structure to the sandbox, which I appreciated. Goat Simulator 3 is clever, creative, and unexpectedly fun, even for someone who hates goats. That said, when you stack it up against other recent releases like Alan Wake 2 or Cocoon, it doesn't quite have the same weight. It's like mashed potatoes, comforting and good, but sometimes when I play a game, I want the full meal, and I want the potatoes with the roast. And this one feels like it's missing the roast. If you're into open world chaos, slapstick humor, and games that don't take themselves too seriously, you'll probably love this. It's perfect for casual play sessions, messing around with friends, or just unwinding. Just don't go in experiencing a deep narrative or complex mechanics. This game knows exactly what it is, and it fully leans into the absurdity. And that's why it's coming in at bronze. Our silver tier game is Cocoon. Yep, that's right. Second place goes to Cocoon. Cocoon is a third-person puzzle adventure game where players guide a small insect-like creature through a series of interconnected, surreal worlds, each contained within orbs. A key gameplay mechanic involves carrying and nesting these orbs, each with distinct abilities used to overcome environmental puzzles. The game is rated E and is about 4 gigabytes in size. The game was developed by Geometric Interactive, a studio co-founded by Jeppe Carlson, sorry if I got that name wrong, who was the lead gameplay designer behind Limbo and Inside, both of them which I have completed and have absolutely loved. Some of my favorite games ever. Cocoon continues his signature approach to storytelling, conveyed entirely through visuals and gameplay, with no spoken dialogue. It was published by Annapurna. Now let's just talk about the game itself. This game is so trippy and cool. From the moment I started playing, I was completely drawn in. It feels like stepping into a beautiful dream I didn't want to wake up from. The aesthetic of the game is absolutely stunning. Every level feels intricate and fully fleshed out, with visuals that are breathtaking. The environments are rich and varied. There's a desert planet, and there's a lush, swampy forest planet. And at one point, you even take the world inside a world. The attention to detail is just so unreal. The puzzles really blew my mind. They made me think without being overwhelmingly difficult, which is great because I can be a bit slow sometimes. One puzzle had you throw a ball down a chute and follow it, hitting buttons to change its course and to make sure that it got there at the end. It was so satisfying and rewarding to complete. Another cool mechanic was going in and out of orbs. Such a creative feature. You can definitely see the inspiration from games like Limbo and Inside, but it still feels original and fresh and like its own thing. Now, let me just say, the audio design is top notch. Every action has a unique high quality sound that feels perfectly in sync with what's happening on screen. The music complements the vibe of the game beautifully, really pulling you into the experience. Even the controller vibrations were really super well done, just perfectly mimicking what was happening on screen. They just added a subtle but powerful layer to the immersion. Now, I was so pleasantly surprised by the boss battles. They were definitely a highlight of my play session of this game. Each one was like a puzzle in itself, with different waves and abilities that kept the fights exciting and dynamic. They were challenging, but not impossible. I didn't die during the first one I played, but where I stopped on the mission was fighting the second boss, and that one was tougher, so I could see these bosses getting pretty intense later on, and I'm curious to see how much it ramps up. By the end, I felt like I went from Albert Einstein to scratching my head over some of the later puzzles, which I loved. This is one of those games that rewards exploration, thinking, and curiosity. You can tell the developers went all out on every detail, and I had a blast, and I'm excited to see what more the game has to offer. So I recommend this game to a lot of people. I think anyone could pick this up and have fun with it. Like I said, if you like Limbo and Inside, it gives a lot of those feels. It's a little bit different and it's original still, so that's still really fun. It's anyone who loves puzzles and just loves other games like Death's Door or Journey. Like, it's just kind of like, it gives those vibes to me, and it's a game that I could see a lot of people having fun with. So if that's you, please try it out, even just for a little bit, and it'll blow you away within the first 30 minutes. So yes, that is why we're putting Cocoon in silver tier. And best for last in gold tier is Alan Wake 2. Woohoo! Yay! So cool! Anyways, Alan Wake 2 is a 2023 single-player survival horror game developed by Remedy Entertainment. It is a sequel to the famous horror game Alan Wake, which was also a free PS monthly game, I believe. This game is rated M and is 100 gigabytes, so you gotta commit to this one. This was captured on a PS5 and played on normal difficulty. The premise of Alan Wake 2 is that you play as two protagonists on two different missions. First, a novelist named Alan Wake, trapped in a nightmare dimension trying to escape. The second, a FBI agent named Saga Anderson, investigating a series of murders in the Pacific Northwest of what seems to be from a cult called the Cult of the Tree. The game blends psychological horror with survival mechanics, requiring players to use light to fight enemies and manage limited resources. So definitely very like the first game. I've been itching to play Alan Wake 2 for a long time, but just didn't have the money for it. I loved the first game, so my expectations were high, and let me tell you, the sequel did not disappoint. Right from the start, the game hits you with an insane cinematic cutscene that genuinely blew me away. I honestly thought I was watching a movie at first, and I still don't know if it's animated or if they filmed it, but it looked so good. But just as you settle in, the game takes a strange and unexpected turn. Suddenly you're playing as a random naked man waking up cold and confused by a lake in the middle of nowhere. Don't worry, nothing graphic is shown, but the mystery starts right away. Pretty quickly you realize you're actually playing the victim of a murder, and let's just say you won't be playing as him again. This game looks stunning, from the misty Washington forest to the charming and eerie small town of Bright Falls. Every environment is incredibly detailed. Whether it's a major cutscene or just walking through town, the visuals are top tier, and facial animations are realistic and detailed. I mean, just look at this couple that you talked to in a diner. Like, the facial animations were really insane. You could read his thoughts just on his face. And just for a game that wasn't even a full cutscene, that was amazing. The lighting is beautiful and the overall presentation is extremely cinematic and everywhere you look. This game doesn't just look good, it plays good. One of my favorite things is being a detective in this game. Now, in the hour I played, I was only able to play Saga, so I didn't get to experience everything like combat or even playing Alan Wake. But playing Saga was an absolute blast because she's a detective. So you're not just running around shooting things, you're actually investigating, talking to characters, looking for clues, and piecing together evidence felt meaningful and immersive. One of the coolest features is the Mind Place, a quiet mental space where Saga processes everything she's found. You can view clues, start case files, and connect pieces of evidence on a board. Solving the mystery this way was really what made me feel like a detective, not just a player following a script. It's smart, well designed, and adds a whole new layer of depth to the gameplay, and I love it. Now, I do want to shout out the audio design because one of the most important things in a horror movie, in the horror genre, in my opinion, is the audio. The audio is excellent. Little things like a twig snapping behind you or a soft whisper in your ear really elevate the tension and the music and just the suspense, and it totally hits on that. It's just subtle, but it's super effective on how they do it. It makes the horror element hit even harder. Whether you're exploring a dark forest or interrogating someone, the audio always just keeps you on edge and really tells you what's going on around you, and I love it. Now, I know that's not a lot of information, and I know I couldn't give you more, but the voice acting, the gameplay, the cinematography of this game, everything I just feel like is so well done, and it's just great. Just in the first hour, Alan Wake 2 completely pulled me in. It's cinematic, immersive, and genuinely impressive in just every way. Detective work feels fresh and satisfying, and the eerie tone has made me excited, and honestly a little nervous to see where the story goes. If you're into narrative-driven games, mysteries, or psychological horror, this one's a must play. I can't wait to dig deeper into the full experience, and that is why I am ranking it in the gold tier. So there you have it, October's PlayStation Plus lineup ranked and reviewed. Goat Simulator 3 takes the bronze with its off-the-wall chaos and goofy fun, perfect for casual sessions or messing around with friends. Cocoon earns the silver thanks to its breathtaking visuals, mind-bending puzzles, and a quiet brilliance that stays with you long after you put the controller down. And finally, Alan Wake 2 easily claims the gold. Its rich, atmospheric thriller with cinematic storytelling, immersive detective gameplay, and just the right amount of psychological horror to keep you hooked. No matter your taste, this month's PS Plus lineup has something worth your time. Just don't forget to clear some space on your hard drive because Alan Wake 2 alone is a monster. Happy gaming, and like, comment, and subscribe if you agree with this list. If we could get to 10 likes, that would be greatly appreciated because I will catch you on the next month doing the exact same thing, and I'm going to keep this series going. So if that's something you're interested in, then please like, comment, and subscribe. I worked hard on this video, so I would like any kind of support there is, and I would really appreciate it. And thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next horizon.